I've been using the S22 Ultra for close to an entire week now, and although this is not my full in-depth review just yet, I do have some interesting findings that I do want to mention in the meantime. The unboxing experience was quite straightforward. After cutting the seals, the only thing inside was the phone, alongside a USB Type-C charging cable, a SIM eject tool, and some manuals. There was no charger, no stickers, not even the replaceable S Pen tips that you used to get before with Note phones. So yeah, a pretty basic unboxing experience, but then the phone looked so good. I was blown away by the perfect matte black coating on the back, by the camera module design, and also by how good this thing felt in my hand. We've done a few videos on the S22 Ultra before, but since we didn't have the phone just yet, we had to use a dummy unit, which had the same dimensions minus the weight. And with this added weight, oh man, the S22 Ultra, the real one, feels so premium in the hand. Now, half a day after I unboxed it and started using it, I noticed a few scuffs right above the ultra-wide camera module. I was really confused what caused them, as I didn't have my keys anywhere near it, I didn't put it on any rough surfaces, and I didn't have my other phones near it either. I was planning to exchange it for another unit, but I'm not even kidding you, a few days later, this is what happened. My entire back is now scuffed permanently, and I'm still not sure what caused this. I did put it on a wooden desk at a restaurant, but I didn't move it. I wasn't using it while it was laying flat. So I don't know, I'll definitely exchange it with this other unit that we have and see if it happens on this one too. And if it does, I'll probably just go for the white model or maybe that exclusive gray. I'll let you know how it goes in the full review, so make sure that you subscribed for that. Oh, and another thing that I've noticed is that the regulatory text on the back is actually not straight on my unit. We also have the burgundy color, and it is pretty much the same on this one as well. So it looks like Samsung's quality control just hasn't been the best with the S22 Ultra. But okay, aside from this, what else have I noticed? Well, just using the phone felt great. I absolutely love the rectangular form factor and the shape, even the sharp corners, which I know they're not the most comfortable, but they do make it so much easier to grab and use. I also loved how when I was watching videos, it kind of felt like I was watching them on a small screen TV, thanks to this perfect rectangular shape. Oh, and speaking of the display, it actually took me a while until I figured out how to maximize the brightness. There's a toggle called Extra Dim, which lets the display go super dim at night. The only problem is that you cannot schedule this, so if you enable Extra Dim, you'll need to remember to turn it off when you use it the following day, as otherwise the maximum brightness would actually be heavily limited when Extra Dim is on. I did have it on my Z Fold 3, so once I've restored my data to my S22 Ultra, it was enabled on it too, and the screen looked very dim, even with the brightness all maxed out. But the thing is that even after disabling it in direct sunlight, it looked dimmer than my iPhone 13 Pro. And I just couldn't figure out what the issue was, as the S22 Ultra is supposed to be significantly brighter with that 750 nit brightness, which clearly wasn't there. Well, it turns out that to get that brightness level, you need to disable auto brightness and then enable extra brightness. Not only will this max it out to 750 nits, but it will also modify the contrast and saturation, so basically the vision booster that we saw at the event, in order to make the picture easier to see in bright sunlight. And I can confirm that with extra brightness enabled, this was the brightest phone that I've ever used. Cannot wait to use this with my DJI Mavic 2 Pro as my screen. In terms of the performance, in my first day of using it, it was bad, and I mean really bad. I have the Exynos 2200 model, and it was so slow, it lagged, I was getting constant frame rate drops, and I honestly had no idea what was causing this. I closed all the apps running in the background, and I even put my device into high performance mode, but I was still getting some horrible performance. Even in Geekbench 5, I was getting a lower performance score than the Note 20 Ultra from 2 years ago. I tried rebooting it a number of times, but nothing worked. So I just left it, and it turns out that the following day, it was fine. It was perfectly fluid with 0 frame rate drops, and it was just performing normally and how I would expect from such an expensive device. Not only that, but the Geekbench score was also back to normal. My guess is that because I've restored everything from my Z Fold 3, there was some sort of file indexing happening in the background, which even though my phone was not showing, it did have a major impact on my performance. But yeah, that's all good now, and I haven't really had any issues in terms of the performance since. The camera has also been great. You'll see a detailed camera comparison against the iPhone 13 Pro soon, so make sure that you're subscribed to the channel for that. But in terms of my quick impressions here, that 10x optical zoom module is of course the key selling feature of this camera. I haven't really noticed that much of an improvement at 10x compared to the S21 Ultra, but where I have noticed improvements was at 20x and at 30x. Whenever I took a photo at those zoom levels, I was like, okay, that looks alright. Then I waited a few seconds for the phone to process it, and then I was blown away. Samsung's AI processing honestly does wonders here, and it can improve a shot massively. Again, I haven't really noticed this at 10x, but at 20x and 30x, it was definitely there. 100x is still pretty poor and not really usable, but it is definitely fun to have. Other than that, all shots from the main camera were amazing. With great HDR processing and direct sunlight, I was really impressed here, plus I did notice that the main camera was actually wider than on the iPhone 13 Pro. The ultra-wide was not as wide actually. Video was a bit of a letdown, with shadows still looking very crushed and a lot of the detail being lost when compared to my iPhone 13 Pro. 8K video seemed to still be the same, 24 frames per second, so it was quite choppy, and the shadow detail was, yeah, it wasn't great. But at the end of the day, I do take more photos than videos, so for me personally, the S22 Ultra still remains the best smartphone camera. In terms of the S Pen, I did actually use it to write down some of my findings with the S22 Ultra in general for this video and some future videos, but I did find it significantly quicker to just write down my notes using the keyboard instead of the S Pen. Like I always say, I'm not a massive S Pen user, but I do like having the option for when I do feel like scribbling down some thoughts. The battery has also been great. I was trying to use both my iPhone 13 Pro and my S22 Ultra for about the same time, and at the end of the day, my S22 Ultra had about 15% more battery life left. And in the days when I did only use my S22 Ultra, it was actually able to last me until about 8 p.m. or so with some pretty heavy usage. Photo and video taking all day during my short trip to Portugal this last weekend. So, am I happy with the S22 Ultra? Is this the perfect phone that I was hoping it would be in this video right here? Well, for the most part, it is. It's got a brilliant display, great everyday performance, a super impressive camera, which does still need some improvements to video, but other than that, this is great. And it even has a great battery life. And I'm pretty sure that Samsung will keep on improving the software. I literally just got an update right now. My only concern is in terms of that back, which, like I said, got scratched super easily, but other than that, it's been an awesome experience. Stay tuned for the full camera comparison and the full review, and if you guys want to see any more videos, let us know in the comment section down below what videos would you want to see on the S22 Ultra. I'm Daniel, this has been Zen of Tech, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Zen of Tech, signing out. Cheers.